What is up, everyone? This is SLX. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I have 700 subs. Woo! 700. We almost set 4,000 videos. So I'm gonna get to 4,000 videos. Y'all get me to 1,000 subscribers. Let's go. Another thing I want to mention too is Patreon. Patreon. I think my Patreon is $300. I'm probably gonna increase it to like $500. And then afterwards, I'm gonna make another. So in my Patreon, there's like a one section. It's like a members list. I think I'm just gonna make it $500 and just leave it at that. So the reason why I'm gonna make my Patreon $500 is because if you don't pay, you're not gonna pay attention. You understand that? If you don't pay, you're not going to pay attention. And also the target audience for my Patreon is already established business owners that are making multiple figures that want to learn how to biohack better. So right now on my Patreon, I have a lot of content from a couple months ago and a couple years ago that is it's just me. Now that I'm leveling up as an entrepreneur, we are going to make biohacking content all on Patreon. So all of my Patreon content is going to be about biohacking. So you are paying $500 every month for my Patreon to learn how to biohack better. Then let's say you're making $1 million, right? Let's say you're a multimillionaire. You make $10 million net worth. If you are making $10 million every year, imagine if you could perform better. Now that you can perform better, $10 million is your default. Then you can make $25 million. Then as you get better at biohacking, $25 million becomes your new default. Then you can become better, make your system more efficient. Then you can make $100 million, right? 2 to the power of n, $100 million, $200 million, $400 million, $800 million, $1.6 billion. You understand what I'm saying? $3.2 billion, $6.4 billion, $1.28 trillion. And these things scale infinitely because 2 to the power of n. So what that does is all you're doing is compressing the time it takes to make $10 million. If it took you 10 years in the business, let's say you started an e-commerce business for shoe brands when you were 23. By the time you were 33, you finally made $10 million. That means you made $1 million every year, let's just say. So it took you 10 years to make $10 million off of your e-commerce brand. All you have to do now is compress those 10 years into 5 years. 2 to the power of n. You compress those 5 years into 2.5 years. 2 to the power of n. You compress those 2.5 years to 1.25 years. 2 to the power of n. You compress those 1.25 years to 0.7, what is it, 0.6, it's like 0.6, 125, right? 0.6125 of a year. So what biohacking does is you learn how to leverage. You compress and compress and compress and compress. Then you also are performing better, right? I have content on my YouTube channel about me doing handstand push-ups. There's a reason why I only do calisthenics, handstand push-ups, planches, 90-degree holds. These type of maneuvers is because it's a full body workout in like 5 minutes. I respect the community of like splitting your groups up and being super disciplined about micro muscles and all this other stuff. But the thing is with calisthenics, when you say micro muscles, you actually work the muscles better in calisthenics because what you're doing is you're using your body weight to move the blood versus having to have an outside object to move the blood. When you have an outside object moving blood, it's not that you're moving the object, it's that you're moving your body away from and towards the object. So if we think about push and pull, right? This is the flaw in the bodybuilding and weightlifting community. For bodybuilding and weightlifting, you think, oh, I'm lifting weights. No, you are not lifting weights. What you are doing is pushing your body towards and away from metal. For instance, If I do a pull-up, I'm pulling myself towards the bar, right? If I do a deadlift, it's not that I'm lifting I'm not, if I do a deadlift, right? I'm not lifting the iron. I'm not lifting the iron. What I'm doing is I'm bringing my body towards the iron. If I'm lifting dumbbells, I'm not lifting dumbbells. All I'm doing is I am bringing my body to the metal. This is why you need to change the way you think about lifting weights and the power of calisthenics, okay? Get calisthenics into your unconscious mind. When you walk, you're training calisthenics. When you crawl since you were a baby, you are training calisthenics, right? And this is all in my Patreon content for biohacking. For people that actually are going to invest in me, I will personally train you how to get absolutely shredded, jacked, become the best version of you, so that you can even make more money than you already are. Understand? So, you need to rechange the way you think about weightlifting. Instead of, oh, this thing is going to be super heavy, I got to go crazy. What you need to reformat is I'm bringing myself towards the metal and pulling myself and pushing myself away from the metal. Now, what's going to happen is you're going to realize, oh, I'm not lifting weight. I'm just bringing my body towards metal. Let me continue explaining. When you do a push-up, you're bringing your body towards the ground and then you're pushing yourself away. When you lift a dumbbell, you're not lifting the dumbbell. I'm going to get a dumbbell right now and I will show you guys what I'm talking about. Give me 1 second. So check this out, okay? A lot of people think when you move a dumbbell, it's that you're the one moving the dumbbell. No, it's not. What it is you are moving your body towards the dumbbell. You're not moving the dumbbell, okay? You're like, instead of, oh, I'm lifting versus thinking of lifting the metal, think of it as your body is going towards the metal. So let's hit the dumbbells over here. Instead of, oh, I'm the one moving the metal, what it is it's my body moving itself towards the metal. You understand the difference? So this is why calisthenics is important, because when you do pull-ups, when you're doing the pull-up, you're moving your body towards the bar. When you're doing a deadlift, you're not lifting the metal. You're bringing your body towards the deadlift. If you're bench pressing, you're not pushing the weight. Like if you're bench pressing, you're not pushing the weight off of your chest. You're bringing your body towards the metal. You understand what I'm saying? Watch this video multiple times and you will slowly start to change the neurons in your brain. A lot of the bodybuilders and weightlifters, they fail to explain this to newbies. When a professional weightlifter says mind-muscle connection, they're not talking about mind-muscle connection of you actually moving weight. That's not what they're saying. What they're saying in mind-muscle connection is understanding how it feels when there's resistance of you moving towards and pulling away and from towards metal. So let me put this dumbbell back down, okay? Another thing I want to mention too is this. The reason why I only do variations of handstands, planches, 90-degree holds is because of leverage. Let me explain, okay? This is what I'm explaining about the minute details in your muscles and the blood. So I was doing a little bit of research recently about weightlifting. And what ends up happening is if you weightlift, you increase mass by default. No matter what, if you weightlift, you will gain weight, period. Why? Because you have to gain weight for the resistance, right? Here is the thing though, is after you weightlift, right? And then you go on a pause, your body naturally wants to have that weightlifting be its new default. So even though you stop lifting, your muscles still retain the shape, muscle memory. This is important. Why? Because let's say you want to leverage your exercise. Instead of doing, a 2-hour workout to hit every single muscle group, what you could do is simply wear a weight vest, ankle weights, and wrist straps, and then go for a run. That's a full body workout in 30 minutes, right? And if you want to go minute with the different muscle groups of your body, right? Because for bodybuilding, it's all about the small little details, right? Little crevices on your abs, little crevices on your ribs, little crevices on your lats and your rear delts, right? All of those minute details actually are better with calisthenics. Let me explain why. What happens is after you weightlift, what happens is inflammation is caused. So because of inflammation, your muscles swell. Then because your muscles swell, they have to get more water in them. And on top of that, you're also having inflammation, more water retention, also more fat. Why? The fat is there to protect the muscle from the damage that you're doing. So you actually increase fat hormones when you're weightlifting, which is a good thing to a certain extent. Because when we talk about shredding the muscle and literally seeing the veins and the lines, this is why for bodybuilding, if any of you noticed, a lot of bodybuilders, yeah, they're shredded, they're muscular as hell, but there's always something a little right here. There's just a little bit of a, you could say a little chub right here for every bodybuilder. If you notice, a lot of bodybuilders still have their baby fat, guys. If you look at all bodybuilders, their cheekbones and whatnot, they still have baby fat. Why? It's because of the excess water, the inflammation, and the extra fat hormones to keep them alive because of all the weightlifting and bodybuilding they're doing. So to actually get absolutely shredded, like I'm talking about Hercules shredded, is calisthenics. So this is why hybrid athletes are the future, because you mix bodybuilding and weightlifting, you mix calisthenics, you get Goku Hercules has a baby somehow, and you emerge as a hybrid athlete god. This is why for bodybuilding and weightlifting, I respect it so much. I just wish that they implemented more calisthenics. So there is a bodybuilder, any of you know, look up Brandon Hendrickson. So Brandon Hendrickson, in my opinion, is the most well-rounded, balanced bodybuilder, weightlifter. Why? Because he does calisthenics, push-ups, dips, squats, and abs, and pull-ups. So he does the basics of calisthenics on his daily routine. This is why Brandon Hendrickson has won so many Mr. Olympias, is because of that. He's the most balanced, in my opinion, bodybuilder out there because he trains calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, dips, squats, and abs. Versus a lot of other bodybuilders, they don't ever put emphasis on that. And if you look at Brandon Hendrickson, he doesn't have the baby fat chub here like other bodybuilders. It's because he does calisthenics. And I'm not saying nothing crazy where you get, where you're losing muscle mass. I'm just saying enough calisthenics to truly define the muscle. Okay? So how does this all wrap back to the earlier point where I was talking about my Patreon, to the earlier point about getting shredded, to the earlier point about leverage, about why I work out the way that I do? Is because If it takes you 1 hour or 2 hours to get the same exact results as a hybrid athlete did in half an hour, what are you doing for that extra time? Let's say for 20 minutes only, a hybrid athlete hit every body part and he got gains in those 20 minutes. Versus someone else who's in the gym for 2 hours and I don't even know what they're doing. There's no purpose, there's no motivation, there's no movement, there's no action. For those 2 hours, what are you doing? Versus a professional hybrid athlete who mixes in, all this other stuff. It's called leverage. So instead of just doing regular push-ups, do push-ups with a backpack on. Instead of just doing squats, do squats with a barbell. Instead of just doing deadlifts, just do deadlifts, right? What I'm trying to say to y'all is learn how to leverage, learn how to leverage, learn how to leverage. This is how you're going to biohack better. So other examples of leverage. When you sleep, optimize your sleep. Put on a face mask, take supplements before you go to sleep. Stuff that's going to help you improve your health. When you exercise, maybe put a weight vest on, ankle weights, wrist straps, because those small things are going to compound over time. Maybe your diet, right? Diet is obviously number 0. Diet is literally number 0. What you eat is literally number 0. Leverage. In one meal, right? Versus counting 1,000 calories, let me count the nutrition per gram, the nutrition per calorie, the density nutrition. So that way, instead of having to eat 5,000 calories to feel satiated, what if you eat 3,000 calories of complex carbs, dense riboflavin-rich protein? That's leverage, because you get the same nutrition in 3,000 calories than in 5,000 calories, but it's the same nutritional value. You understand? For everyone that's watching this video, for every entrepreneur, put this word in your forehead. Leverage, 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 leverage. Patreon is up $300, except that I'm gonna raise it to $500. I'm gonna raise my Patreon from $300 to, so this is the thing. My Patreon went from like $140 to $300. Now I'm gonna make it $500. Audience members, already established business owners that want to learn how to biohack better, because if you can perform better, then you can make more money. If you're already making $500 million a year, but you feel sluggish, you have questions about your existence. Oh, I'm not super happy. I have all this money, but I'm working in my business, not on my business. Like, okay, I'm making $500 million, but I want to spend more time with my family. I want to eat better meals. I want to feel better. Hey, if you're already making $500 million, why don't you pay me, $200,000 a month, and I'll just train you in biohacking. You can perform better, and all of a sudden you'll be making $5 billion a month without even trying. That's the power of biohacking. Y'all don't understand is, for biohacking, just by you working on yourself, somehow you make more money. It does not make any sense. This is the power of biohacking. Literally, just by you improving your health, somehow you end up with more numbers in your bank account. Just somehow. It's absolutely... Right? Let's say you're making $500 million a year. Just by you biohacking and increasing your ability to perform, somehow all of a sudden you're making $5 billion 5 years later. That's the power of biohacking. And I can explain from my personal experience. Once I started biohacking, money just spawned in my bank account. And I was like, where the fuck did this money even come from? I was just biohacking, so focused on my health, that the next thing I knew I just had a bunch of money in my bank account. But here's the thing though is, right, and this is Patreon content, right? All my entrepreneurial sauce is all on Patreon. Spend all of your money immediately, right? This is the power of energy. This is the power of money. And I go super in-depth with this kind of stuff on Patreon. So, everyone, if you want more and more in-depth, absolutely entrepreneurial sauce, Patreon, $500 a month. I think right now it's $300 a month, but I'm going to raise the price after this video. you're just gonna go and change it from $300 a month to $500 a month. And again, target audience for my Patreon, already established business owners that want to make more money. If you pay me, I will personally train you in biohacking so you can improve your performance and make even more money. In the meantime,